One question I'm asked frequently is, are leaders born or made? My name is St. Simon and I'm excited to welcome you to our new video here on this channel where we analyze the themes around the divine masculine. In this video we analyze one of my favorite film characters, Caesar from the Planet of Apes trilogy. Similar to Maximus and Thomas, Caesar is also a great example of the divine masculine and the art of leadership. Throughout this video we will explore the principles that make a great leader, using Caesar's journey from birth to rebellion as our guide, and by so also answer the question, are leaders born or made? Stay tuned until the end of the final conclusion to discover the 5 main traits of the divine masculine. It's always great to have you here. Don't forget to like, comment and join this golden community if you're new here. Now let's get started. Caesar is not born in the wild like most of his kind. He is born in a lab and destined to die. The only reason he's alive is because a human saves him. As children, we are dependent on the love of others. Without the love of will, Caesar would die. This is where we all start and what we all have in us, that deep desire for love, because without it we could and would not survive. As children, we are natural explorer, we are curious, we have a natural desire to explore and understand the world around us. In Caesar's case, he has something that most children don't have. He has a loving father who helps him to develop his talent. We are all born with a unique talent. This is what Hindu teachings describe as Dharma. To find your Dharma, you just have to explore your childhood. This is where you're going to find it. It's within the circumstances you're born with. Caesar's circumstances are that he spends most of his time alone. He is a bone loner. Loner, that's his Dharma. This is both a challenge and a gift. On the one side, it's lonely not to be able to play with other children and explore the world outside his room. But on the other side, he has this way time to explore his inner world. He develops a high intelligence and intuition in a way that others don't. Be a loner, that gives you time to wander, to search for the truth, have holy curiosity. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born. As Caesar grows older, so does his fascination and desire to explore the world. But he is not able to handle the world outside yet. Here he experiences a childhood trauma. He develops a fear of the outdoors. His subconscious mind now saves this experience as an association that the world outside is dangerous and that he needs his father as a protector. Body language. Caesar is a boy and still dependent on his father. His father is the one who provides for him. His father is the one who leads him. And his father is the one who protects him. This gesture shows who has the responsibility. It's will. He has the responsibility and therefore the power to decide. Whom you give the responsibility, you give the power. Will is the leading figure in Caesar's life. He is Caesar's father and that is what a father is, a leading figure. Caesar shows him so his devotion and trust. One of the Stoic insights described that humans are most at peace the closer they are to nature and that the more unhappy they become, the further away they are from nature. Here we see where Caesar is the happiest. Caesar is now no boy anymore. He is now a teenager in his youth. His consciousness has evolved. Now he starts to think, ask and reflect. These are higher faculties. What higher faculties are we will explore later on. When the mind is thinking, it is simply talking to itself, asking questions and answering them and saying yes or no. Caesar continues to explore his inner world. He develops critical thinking and starts to ask the questions of life. Who am I? Where I am? Where do I come from? What is the meaning of my life? His consciousness evolves and so his personality. He becomes more self-aware, waking up and realizing what he is and what world he lives in. He is not a human. He is an ape, and this is a world where apes are pets. Will's father steps outside and encounters danger. Here we see how Caesar's animalistic side kicks in. Caesar protects his family, but also gets emotional. He has his emotions not under control. After the punch in the face, Caesar is now in animal mode. Only root chakra, pure survival, animalistic behavior, outburst of emotions. But Caesar is not an animal. He has an evolved consciousness. He is self-aware. Now that the adrenaline fades away, he returns to this state of being of self-awareness. Now he realizes what he did and he feels ashamed of it. He feels ashamed of his own nature. He is not able to handle the world outside and seeks dependence again. He seeks his protector again to lead him, because he is not able to lead himself. Caesar is now seeing the consequences of his actions. His emotions overwhelmed him and now he's getting the punishment for that. But he trusts his father to lead him.
Come on. Trust me.
Caesar desires to explore the world and now he is experiencing the consequences of his desire. He feels imprisoned. He cries for help, but instead of help he is left alone. He cries for love but is rejected. Love is denied. Panic. Again trauma. This subconscious association is now reinforced. The world outside is dangerous and every time I follow that intuitive feeling within me, I get punished. This is Caesar's call to adventure. The universe sends Caesar on his journey, teaching him his dharma. Life doesn't punish you, it teaches you. The art of power. The other apes show their dominance through shouting and animalistic behavior. Caesar is the only conscious one. He is overwhelmed because he's an introvert who is ripped from his known surroundings into the unknown. Introverted doesn't mean that you're shy, it just means that you're inward focused. Caesar is used to being in that room. He's used to being the only ape. He's used to the comfort and safety he had at home. But all of this is now gone. Caesar learns that he is now in a new world. He is a boy in a man's world. Here are different rules, different environment. Hungry, cold, alone, joyless, he craves his window again. Now he regrets his desire to explore. At home, he had all of this, but it wasn't enough for him. He was greedy and wanted more, and now he is facing the punishment for his desire. Caesar now meets the other apes for the first time. A boy surrounded by men. We see here the hierarchy. There's the special one, isolated. There's the alpha, there are the betas, and him, the new one, the outsider. Rocket is the alpha of the clan, but he is not a real leader. He shows his dominance through body language, challenging Caesar. And Caesar's response is being nice to him, offering friendship. This is Machiavelli's The Prince on the question whenever it's better to be loved or feared. Machiavelli describes that kind kings often lack power and that they are the ones who die first because their kindness is used against them. This is exactly what we see here. Caesar's niceness is used against him to bully him, showing power over him through violence and force. Caesar tries to survive. He's again overwhelmed. He faces death but survives because someone from outside helps him. Again, this feeds that subconscious self-belief that he is not able to lead himself and that he depends on the love of others to survive. In prison, Caesar makes his first friend, Maurice. Now, Maurice is one if not the most important character in Caesar's story, and that for multiple reasons. First, Maurice is the light in a dark world. He gives Caesar hope. Hope that he is not alone and that there are others like him. The other reason why Maurice is so important we will see later. But for the first, Caesar meets Will again. He learned his lesson and is now ready to go home. He wants again into the known. But the universe says no. To live and die in this room is not Caesar's dharma. He again asks for help, and again he is rejected for help. He is again left alone. He cries for love, but love is again denied. He cries and cries, but no one answers. Caesar's rejection of love turns into anger, and anger is the emotion of action. Caesar embraces now all emotions, letting everything out. He now realizes that no one will come to help him, and if no one is coming to help, then he has to take responsibility and help himself. What is the difference between a teenager and an adult? It's not the age, it's independence, taking responsibility for your life and being independent. Caesar's story started as a child as he grew into a teenager. Now he's making the transformation from a boy to a man. And this starts with taking responsibility. One of the most important realizations on this journey is that no one will come and rescue you. You are responsible for yourself. You are responsible to survive and strive in the dark world. Caesar now embraces his new world and takes control of his life. This is the first step from dependence into leadership. To be a leader and to lead others, you first need to lead yourself. And that means to be independent. That means to be responsible. Whom you give the responsibility, you give the power. Caesar now takes the responsibility to survive and strive in this dark world. He takes action by using his biggest strength, his intelligence. Caesar is another great example of introverted leadership. He is a born loner, that is his dharma. He spends most of his time alone, thinking and observing. These are his biggest strengths. To observe his surroundings and use his intelligence to create opportunities for leverage. This way, Caesar is very similar to Thomas Shelby, who is also a great case example of introverted leadership. The art of leverage. Caesar observes and thinks, connecting the dots to free himself. He is now realizing more and more how the world around him works. Now, the unknown becomes the new known. Caesar knows that he is an ape. He knows that they live in a world where apes are pets. He knows that he and the other apes are imprisoned in a cage facility, and he also knows how to open the window to freedom from that facility. He knows that apes have different hierarchies of power. He knows that the special one is isolated from the other apes, and that he shares the same desire for freedom and exploration. But the main thing that Caesar realizes is that apes, no matter the status of power or the differences, they all have one thing in common. They are all bullied by humans. Humans are their common enemy. This is what connects them all. Caesar is in a disadvantageous situation, imprisoned, but so the other apes. They all have a common enemy and so reason to work together. The guard is a bully and bullies the apes. He is ignorant and stupid. This is Caesar's chance to leverage his situation. He uses his intelligence and the ignorance of his enemy to his advantage, luring him to come closer. Caesar makes strong eye contact, showing his power through calmness under pressure. But his real power is his intelligence, because the power game was only a distraction to steal the tool from him. Caesar now makes his first move, freeing the special one, solving his problem and giving him freedom, and so winning his trust and loyalty. Here we see already leadership thinking, and especially introverted leadership. Caesar has no physical dominance, which is why he gets support. What is the difference between a lone wolf and a leader? A leader understands the power of teamwork. Caesar challenges Rocket and uses the special one as leverage to gain power over the tribe, to make him the new alpha. Caesar is therefore a perfect example of what you could call a Sigma male. He is powerful, but not due to his physical dominance like Rocket, but due to his intelligence. It doesn't matter how physically stronger his enemies are, because Caesar will always outsmart them. His intelligence is what makes him powerful, and that's why he is now the new alpha of the tribe. He is now a leader. Rocket asks for permission and Caesar gives permission, because he is not interested in the power game. Caesar is not a bully who strives for power. He is a visionary. That's his dharma, seeing the bigger picture. Will found a way to free Caesar. He can now take him back home. This is the universe testing Caesar and his principles. This is a test of loyalty. Will offers Caesar to return to the known, and first Caesar considers it, but then he sees the leash. Caesar is not a child anymore. He is not a pet either. He is not anymore independent. He is now independent. He closes the door, metaphorically making his decision. He decides to stay.
I guess he likes it better here with his own kind.
Caesar decides to follow his intuition. These are his biggest strengths, his intelligence and his intuition. And his intuition is telling him that he is worthy of more than this room has to offer. The other apes cheer for him because he stood loyal to his principles. Only if you can be loyal to yourself, you can be loyal to others. Life offered him to quit his soul mission and return to the known safety, but Caesar decided to follow his intuition and strive for more. After recruiting the special one, Caesar now recruits the other apes, gaining their loyalty. He is now a teacher, teaching them to work together and trust in each other. Instead of abusing his power for selfish reasons, he uses his power to unite them. We see Caesar's leadership even in his body language. We saw Rocket as the alpha and now we see Caesar as the alpha, observing and thinking. As I said, Maurice is a very important character in Caesar's life. Now, the second reason why Maurice is the most important character in Caesar's story is because he is Caesar's first follower. This is the principle of the first follower. Without a first follower, the leader is no leader but only a loner. It's through the first follower that the loner becomes a leader. Caesar teaches Maurice the principle of a mastermind alliance. He shares his vision with him. He shows him the potential they could unleash with the power of teamwork. But Maurice reminds him that they are slaves to their animalistic behavior and that except them both, all the other apes are still unconscious. Caesar knows that to rise, he needs to make them smart first, so that they start to evolve their consciousness like he did. He again uses his biggest strengths, observing and thinking, to escape from the place and get more of the cure. Caesar gives his kind knowledge, consciousness, higher faculties. The apes start to become self-aware, waking up from unconsciousness, becoming conscious. Caesar recruits each one by one and shares the plan for the revolution. The rebellion starts. Caesar is a leader because he takes the first step. He steps up, showing that he is ready to rebel and rise. This is what true leadership looks like. Caesar versus God. The God shows his power through violence and force, but Caesar is non-reactive, showing his power through calmness under pressure, proving that he is not an animal but able to control himself. Now he is a protector. Caesar spoke his first word, and by so took the next evolutionary step. His first word is no, symbol for freedom and independence. Apes matter, because apes just took the next evolutionary step. This no is the claim of freedom, because apes are now on the same level as humans. The only thing that makes us the Homo sapiens so special is our thinking, or other said, our higher faculties. What we share with animals are our senses: see, hear, smell, taste and touch. But what makes us unique from all others are our higher faculties: reason, intuition, perception, will, memory and imagination. This is what gives humans the advantage over animals. Animals only react to the world, where humans, due to their higher faculties, create the world. The eternal body of man is the human imagination, and that is God himself. Freedom is our natural birthright, and Caesar now claims his birthright. His intuition tells him that he is worthy of more than this room has to offer, and he follows that intuitive feeling, now claiming more. The other apes try to kill one of the guards, but Caesar goes between, to teach them that they are not animals. They are not like them. Caesar only attacks when he is attacked. The guard attacks him and he defends himself. Caesar killed human, realizing what he just did. Now his innocence is gone. He is no child anymore. A new level of seriousness has been reached. No turning back now. Everything or nothing. The rebellion started. Caesar and his Alps army are now unleashed. He is the first man on the battlefield, guiding them through the city. Their first objective is freeing the other apes from the lab where Caesar was born, and where apes are used as test objects. This shows Caesar's mentality as a leader. He is not letting anyone down. One for all and all for one. The second objective is the zoo, where apes are treated as pets. Now it's time for the main objective. Cross the Golden Bridge and claim the woods as their new home. In safety. Final battle. Apes versus police. The apes army fight for their birthright of freedom. They fight for their independence. Caesar is an intelligent leader. Instead of running into their bullets and so losing many of his kind, he uses their height and agility as an advantage, crossing bridge from above and beyond. Apes army loses some of their people. The seriousness increases. But no back down. All or nothing. Caesar again is an intelligent leader. He uses the fog as disguise and the bus as a shield. They come closer and so take away the advantage of the police, their rage. Shouting no as psychological warfare, confusing his enemy and breaking their morale, and then using this moment of confusion to attack from all sides. While all take cover, Caesar sacrifices himself for his men, and his men sacrifices themselves for Caesar. Caesar first time loses one of his kind, losing one of his close ones, losing the special one. He feels grief and loss, anger and hate, lust for revenge. Bad human asks for help. Now he is independent of love to survive. But love is denied. Caesar doesn't kill, but also doesn't save him, letting universe decide. Police gives up and retreat back to the city, while the apes' army flees into the woods. They did it. They are now in safety. Caesar led his tribe into a safe place. He is now a provider. Will follows Caesar into the woods and is attacked by Cobra, but Caesar again goes between and saves him. Will saved Caesar's life, and now Caesar saved Will's life. Caesar shows that he is now an adult. He is responsible for himself. He is not dependent of love anymore. He found love inside and is now independent. He doesn't blame Will, but instead forgives him, letting go of the past and embracing the future. Caesar is now a healer. And so Caesar becomes another great example of the divine masculine. He is the leader of his tribe, living according to his dharma, writing his own story. He is a leader, a teacher, a protector, a provider, and a healer. This is what the divine masculine is. Conclusion. Are leaders born or made? The question is less about whenever leaders are born or made, but more about what your dharma is. What are your life circumstances? Not everyone is born to lead an army and revenge the emperor like Maximus, or lead your family from the hood to the golden circles of high society like Thomas, or lead your kind from oppression to freedom like Caesar. Nevertheless, we are all leaders in our life. This can be as a father, as a coach, as a teacher, or countless more examples. Leadership is taking responsibility for your life and following your intuition, your dharma. Is leadership born or made? Leadership is definitely made. Caesar was not born a leader, he started quite the opposite. He started in dependence, fear and naivety. But he took responsibility for his life and followed courageously his intuition, and so naturally learned the principles of leadership. Caesar became a leader because he followed his desire. The starting point of all achievement is desire. What is your dharma? Now, this is within your own individual story. If you want a separate video where I explain in more detail how to find and understand your dharma, then write it in the comments. With this said, my name is St. Simon and I'm always glad to have you here. If you like, support the channel on Patreon and become a golden member today. Thanks for tuning in, and until we meet again in the next video.